introduce yourselves.
Yeah, I'm Shruthi.
And I'm Peter.
And we are Holidayatsee.
And so I am currently riding with them in the middle, best seat in the house, in their home on wheels.
It's a Mac sandwich.
It's a Mac sandwich. This is really all I've ever wanted in life. Was to be sandwiched between these two human beings.
I think it's a dream come true for all of us.
I'm not kidding.
It's a Big Mac.
It's a Big Mac. But how long have you guys been on the road for?
We are coming up on 4 years now. It'll be 4 years in April.
4 years in
Which is
April.
insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what has been the basic path of travel for you guys since going on the road?
So we started in the States for about a year. The States and Baja and a little bit of Canada. And then we shipped from Florida to Colombia and did South America for a year and a half or so. And then we came back here and just been traveling the States since.
So I guess we should probably talk about what this vehicle is briefly.
This is a 1987 Westphalia Vanagon GL.
So you guys have obviously been traveling in it for 4 years. Did you have it? How long, I guess, did you have it before you went on the road?
I bought it when I was 19, which, geez, it's a long time ago. Now that I think
You
about
old.
it. I am old. So I've had it for 13 and a half years.
That's amazing.
I bought it because I really loved Scooby-Doo, and it reminded me of the Mystery Machine. And Shruthi lived in Chicago at the time, so I would use it to go visit her, drive up and sleep in parking lots since her parents hated me. So it was kind of our connection.
Excellent.
And then, yeah, it was my daily driver until we hit the road in 2016.
He bought it sight unseen on eBay.
I bought
That
it on
I think I should
eBay.
add.
That is insane.
That's
Yeah, it was really dumb, and I would not do it again. But I think at the time I had been bidding only on eBay because I was in southern Mississippi and there were no other options really for getting a Vanagon.
yeah.
There weren't any there.
Oh.
So I had to buy it online, and I was too poor to fly to look at it and then buy it. So
I could go and look at it, but I cannot buy it.
So, and I was also a little bit frustrated and impatient because I had a few near misses bid-wise. So then I was like, I saw this and I was like, screw it.
Like
buying
other
it.
Westies that you bid on?
Yeah.
So did you buy it now?
I don't remember. I don't think so.
Okay.
Have the little road tires on it with the chrome hubcaps.
So precious.
And I remember thinking that the size of the tires compared to the rest of the vehicle was so funny.
They are.
They were like the tiniest tires.
They're like little donuts.
They are little donuts.
Essentially.
They're mini Hostess donuts.
Kind of on the subject of families, so did you guys grow up as outdoorsy people? Because inherently, if you are traveling full-time, you're doing a lot of stuff outside.
Yeah.
So did you grow up doing a lot of stuff outside?
I did not. The most outdoorsy we got was like eating outside at a rest area on a family road trip. That's pretty much it. But no, like camping and stuff like that, I never ever did anything like that.
As a kid, I was always outside, like causing trouble, shooting things with BB guns and stuff like that. So I was outside all the time. But as far as a family goes, not really.
So then how did you guys kind of come up with this whole idea? Because it's a pretty big, relatively far-fetched for a lot of families, like idea for their kids to be doing. So how did you come up with the idea? And then I'm kind of curious, how did your families respond to it?
I had always wanted to do a long-term trip in the van, but like just to go to Alaska or something like that. And
Yeah.
then it never really panned out having enough time to do it, because also we were long distance like for 6 years or something, right?
That's
So I
insane.
couldn't just go by myself, because then that would,
Good for
I mean,
you
I could,
guys.
but it would not have gone over well, and I would rather do it with Shruthi anyway.
We just
So-
recently caught up, like the time that we spent long distance and the time that we've spent actually together in the same area. We just recently caught up on that.
Wow.
We spent, like a little over 6 years long distance.
Yeah, so
It's
then,
so impressive.
where was I going with that? Oh, yeah, so then we went to visit friends that lived in their van. They traveled to South America, Greg and Katie. We liked it so much, we were just like, we need to find a way to make that work.
It was like confirmation
So-
that like, we do want to
Yeah.
do this at some point in our lives.
Yeah.
So we decided on the plane ride back from Argentina that we were going to try to do it, and then everything just kind of lined up with work, like saying we could go part-time, remote, all that.
So
We already had the
huge.
van, so we didn't have to buy the van.
That was a huge surprise because we were planning on quitting, and financially that's how we planned to.
Right.
So, and then at the time we were thinking just a year on the road, probably even less, because we were gonna do 8 months in the van and then go overseas for 3 months and backpack. So our parents were surprisingly supportive. I think they were really excited for us. And my parents surprisingly were like, all right, that sounds cool. I don't really think they quite understood like what was going on, but
The
they were
full extent of the situation.
Right, like they were still excited. We kind of did this unspoken tradition of like one big trip a year, whether that's like overseas or just, in the US. So our families like knew that was like a natural part of our relationship, was like making the time to travel.
So, do you have a favorite memory from your travels, or moment or experience, I guess, over your 4 years of being on the road?
Well, Peter, I'll let you go first. I don't know if you're
I
ready.
don't know what to say.
Okay.
I have no good memories.
I have
Favorite?
plenty of good memories, but my favorite one, I don't know. That's
There's not one that just like jumps to your mind, like when somebody says that.
Seeing Owen in his old man pants, his comfy pants for the first time, was one of probably the favorite or one of my favorite.
Our friendship is over as of this very moment.
I have many. Obviously, there are many experiences that pop out in your mind. I think just in general when someone asks you that question. But the one that's like really standing out for me right now is seeing an entire pod of orcas in Patagonia.
That's insane.
Like,
yeah.
expecting to see none, or maybe like one or two, if we were lucky.
Yeah.
No, an entire pod showed up.
That's insane.
With babies, and they were teaching the babies how to hunt seals. So we saw all the seals laying on the sandbars around this little bay that the parents would take their babies to. We saw it happening, and in that same vein, like definitely whale watching in Baja,
Yeah.
incredible.
It's hard to top those ones, except with Owen's pants, of course.
Hashtag Owen's pants.
The most memorable was like really bad.
But I think that there's validity to that, and I think that that's fine.
I think the most memorable part of our entire trip was breaking down our transmission going out in Argentina and
Yeah, very memorable.
having to rebuild it 3 times. We were
Yeah.
also going through a pretty bumpy patch in our relationship, so that just added on top
Fuel
of
to
it.
the fire.
Didn't
if you
make
will.
anything better.
Yeah, so not only were we arguing, but then we were arguing with the transmission and then all the mechanics that didn't know how to do anything.
So we were navigating language
lot.
barrier, tracking down parts that we needed for the van, figuring out shipping, and we were camped in this mechanic's backyard, just in his gravel driveway, with just like boxed in, so we couldn't pop the top. We were tilted up. The back of the van was tilted up like this.
The worst.
So it was very uncomfortable all around.
It was.
So did anything
miserable.
good come out of that experience? Because obviously it takes a lot of time and reflecting and miles put in between
Yeah.
situations like that but did anything good come out of it?
A lot of good things came out of it in the end. It ended up being a costly and very stressful time. But in the end, we made friends with like some locals there that were part of the Combi Club, and we became good friends and saw them like a couple times on our trip. It mainly came down to people, because
Oh yeah.
we met them, we met some other people that were really cool, and then eventually we had to drive all the way back up to Santiago. And while we were there, some other friends that we had met in Colombia who were traveling were ending their trip. So we got to see them one last time before they went back to Switzerland. We rerouted everything because of that, because winter was setting in Patagonia.
Oh, so you weren't hitting the
So-
seasons right anymore.
Yeah, so we missed the season because we were showing up in the fall was our plan, like shoulder season.
Shoulder season, yeah.
And
Sounds so crazy.
then since we got delayed, it was just straight up winter. So we went back north to Peru, and then we met up with some other friends there that we had met in Colombia as well.
We got to do the dry season in Bolivia and Peru instead of Patagonia. Because that's another reason why we were so bummed, was because we had just gotten to part of our trip that we were looking forward to the most.
You weren't hitting it the way you planned it anymore.
Yeah, and then like that's when we started having transmission issues, and then it delayed us, and then we missed all the good weather. But the good thing was that we had time to go back.
Yeah.
You know, like circle back around.
And really, it ended up being, when we did circle back and got to Patagonia, we got like the most incredible weather.
The most incredible weather. Like the
It
day
was
we hiked up to
perfect.
Fitzroy, bluebird skies.
Ooh.
And then
Seriously.
really, I mean, it's kind of like a domino effect in a way, because we met so many people like after our breakdown that we never would have met otherwise.
Broken
Like-
down, it's true.
Oh, look, here's your downhill.
Woohoo!
3 miles.
Look, Mom, no hands!
Okay.
Oh, God.
Don't do that.
So, this is a two-wheel drive Vanagon.
See.
We've come to realize that you guys have a knack for getting this thing places that I think a lot of people who drive a two-wheel drive vehicle would never ever try. So you guys are really good at pushing the envelope of what I feel like this vehicle is capable of. So do you enjoy driving off-road?
I love it.
You like wheeling?
I love
You like
wheeling.
mudding?
Wheeling, mudding, sanding,
You name
quick
it.
sanding. Actually, I haven't gotten to do that yet, but I'd like
We'll
to.
work on that.
I have very minimal off-roading experience, but I really enjoyed the process of like learning repair. I do love driving also, but it's also more fun for me to watch, because I like to. A game that I play is like I try to see if like Peter and I would do the same thing.
If you pick the same route.
Yeah, if we pick the same route. So
Yeah, I like going on roads where like, you know, my butt clenches a little bit. If it's clenching, then we're good. We like it.
code grounds.
Yeah,
Lots
I
of
like
butt
it a little
clenching.
spicy.
lots of butt clenching.
But
memories.
it's funny that before this trip, we didn't do any of that in the
Neither
van.
did we.
Like, I kept the van like scratch free, always waxed and clean. Didn't go on bumpy roads. I hated brushing up against like, you know, bushes and plants getting pinstriped. But then, so the thing that really got me initially out of the box with that, which was great, and it was great timing because it was right at the beginning of our trip, was first Baja, because we went down there and we met up with Greg, and he's got a synchro. So one of the first things we did, he was just like, yeah, let's go out on the dunes. Let's try it out, get stuck. So within the first like 2 seconds, I got stuck because I didn't know what the hell I was doing. But he had a winch and could pull me out and all this stuff. So I got a lot of good practice while also having someone there that could pull my
In a
ass
good,
out.
safe environment, yeah.
Yeah, and then
To learn like what our
immediately-
limits were. I think
That's
that's
a
really.
good thing to know.
I think that's really important. Is that's why it's so fun to go wheeling with other people. Is because you have the room, you have the, like a little bit more of a margin of error,
Yeah,
and you
for
can
sure.
really learn like the limits of like your comfort zone, where that is, and then also like what your limits are. You
Yeah,
know?
what your vehicle really
What your
can
vehicle
do
can do.
if you drive intelligently. Right?
well, a lot of people don't know the limits, so they don't test them. So then
Yeah,
that's why they just stay in just campgrounds.
Which can be
or
really
something.
scary. Like, I totally get that. I mean, there are times where, even though it's just the two of us, I'm like, it can be very hairy.
Not only is it fun, but also the best spots are harder to get to because not a lot of people want to go through that to get to somewhere cool.
Right.
They just want somewhere to sleep.
Our favorite roads are spicy ones, but there's something at the end of it, a reward.
Yeah.
Because I don't like to beat the crap out of our vehicle if there's no like payout, I guess, in the end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's different when it's your home.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
It's not just like a beater that you can take out and just.
If you just had a Jeep, you could
Beat it
just
up.
take out
Yeah.
and like
Yeah.
do whatever,
You
and
have to
if
be
it breaks down.
concerned if your beers are shaken
Yes, because
by the
that's
time you show
I
up.
don't
That
like
is a
my
problem.
beers jostled. I like them
Like
very stationary,
cuddled,
Yeah.
loved.
cuddled and loved.
Hot. Right. Favorite places. Everybody asks, but also everybody wants to know.
El Chalten, that whole
Oh.
area
Hell yeah.
is incredible, and the whole. I mean, even just the greater area around it, El Chalten, down to Perito Moreno, and all that is like just incredible.
Yeah. So
There for sure. And then the Southwest U.S., I think, like Utah and Northern Arizona.
Yep, I agree with that.
the first place that I actually like really fell in love with, and I just felt like I was who I was supposed to be as a person when I was there. I don't know. It just made me feel so at home. Was Baja, for sure, because I had never been anywhere like that in my whole life. It's a very magical place, and like you can see dolphin pods and like whales just like from the beach, which is just mind blowing. And I've always been fascinated with whales, so.
Cervezas are cheap. The tacos are bountiful.
I mean, come on! It's like
what else?
my
What else do
happy
you
place
need?
in a section of planet Earth. Definitely, I would say the Southwest as well, because there's nothing like it. And I would also say Patagonia. That place was incredible. And like northern Chile, like the desert, is one of the most beautiful, like crazy places, because it just looks like another planet. It doesn't look like planet Earth, especially the Atacama Desert. And there's geoglyphs everywhere, which are like with the actual rocks being placed in the ground or like taken away to make certain shapes. So I would say those are some of my favorites.
Last question, I swear, and then we can go to camp.
No,
All right.
this is fine. I'm having fun with this.
I'm glad. So, if you could give one piece of advice about travel in general, what would it be?
So my number one piece of advice is don't get caught up in how you think you should be doing it or how other people are doing it. Do it for yourself and do it the way that you want to do it. Yeah. Be open to advice, learn as much as you can, but I think that people get way too caught up in what they think they're supposed to be doing or how they're supposed to be traveling. Whether that's in your car or backpacking or whatever. So I would say just...
You do you, girl.
Exactly. You do you, and just do the trip for you.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I would say, and this kind of goes hand in hand, or can anyway, is to do something that makes you a little uncomfortable.
Okay.
Like get
Care
out
to
of your
elaborate?
get out of your comfort zone. Like don't do what everyone else is doing. Like just to do that or whatever. Like do your own thing. Make yourself like do something that makes you a little like nervous.
Yeah, push the boundaries. I feel like we touched
Yeah.
on that before.
Because I think we've talked about it before. Like going to South America, I wasn't really that into at first. Like Shruthi came up with the idea, and I was like, I don't know. Like I don't speak Spanish. Just watch Narcos, Colombia. So and then we went, and I was like, holy crap, this is the best thing ever.
Yeah.
So he's saying I was right.
That's all I hear from this.
No, I'm not going to say that directly.
That's his piece of travel advice. Shruthi was right.
So number one piece of advice, listen to Shruthi. With whatever, and she just started her own travel consulting service, so we're going to charge for that, right?
Yeah, for sure.
No, but
Shameless
just
plug.
get out of your comfort zone. As cliche as that sounds, that's why I said it more like just do something that makes you a little uncomfortable.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. Well, excuse me. Thank you for letting me ride with you guys for the last hour and some change and sit uncomfortably close to you and ask you intrusive questions.
It's been really fun.
Thank
I loved
you.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A little sunset drive.
But yeah, just so you guys know, we met Peter and Shruthi after, I guess, knowing each other via the internet for 3 years for the first time.
Yeah.
Last
Long
year.
time.
Yeah, and we were like, let's hang out for the weekend.
We actually tried to meet up in Baja, remember that? Because we were both going to be there at the same time, and then like someone that you were traveling with ended up having van issues.
Yep.
And we ended up not being able to meet up.
I do remember that. But yeah, so it finally happened last April, and we were like, let's spend the weekend together. And then we stayed together for like a whole month, and it was great.
It was so fun.
It was great. And we're happy to be with you guys again.
And now we're the best of friends.
Ever! All right, let's go to camp.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. If it wasn't made abundantly clear in this video, Peter and Shruthi are very near and dear to our hearts. It's hard to honestly imagine a time in our life when we didn't know them. The internet can be a very strange place, but if it can bring people like them into our lives, then we're absolutely here for it. We draw so much inspiration from all of their travels and the things that they've accomplished since being on the road. In the description of this video below, we will link all their social profiles so you can follow along with their journey as well. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you down the road.
We left Nashville and went down to Baja. Whoa, that was a big
Was that a... My reaction was like so extreme. Sorry. I'm fine.
Did the rock hit you or the windshield?
I don't know. Sorry.
Oh, we have to slow that down and like rewatch it.